Tech for Seniors Live. This is a show where Ron, Hewie, and Bob sit around and have coffee.
All right, wrong show. Wrong show.
Oh, oops. Oh, I'm sorry. How embarrassing. How embarrassing. Here, let me do it again. Just a minute now. Tech for Seniors Live. It is the...
Not live.
No, Tech for Seniors. Let me do it right again. Tech for Seniors. It is April the 19th. Welcome, everyone. Phew, sorry about that. Well, it's just we're having so much fun with our Thursday show that I just wanted to, I got confused, right? You get old, you get confused. Well, anyway, welcome, everyone. Welcome to the streaming fellas. They're over, all our group over on the streaming side of things. And welcome to everybody who was at our Zoom meeting. Thanks so much for coming. We do appreciate it. Thank you. Now to introduce our show today, Hewie, where's Hewie? Here, there you are, Hewie.
I'm here.
How the heck have you been doing this week? Hey, we had a pretty good Chromebook meeting last Thursday, eh?
We certainly did, and we had a good Tech for Senior Live show too. It was good. Yes,
we did. Well, it was it's a lot of fun. And what did you tell me? There was 2,000 people watched.
Let me just quickly show you here.
What? How many people watched it? My gosh.
This is the one 2 weeks ago. There's 2.1 thousand views, 2,100 views for our first one, which was 2 weeks ago.
I guess people just like to have coffee with us, eh?
I guess, or we put them to sleep. They use us to go to sleep.
Yeah, maybe, or maybe it's Bob's magnetic personality. I don't know. Anyway, we had a good time, and that was great. And Bob, you are in Texas,
where everything is bigger and everything is faster except internet access. I didn't say that.
You know, I think I've told everyone this before, but Gail and I lived in a full-time in a motorhome or in a fifth wheel for two years, and we drove around, and part of our travels through the United States, we went to Texas, of course, and we stayed in a place just north of Corpus Christi called Rockport. And it was the most beautiful place I've ever been in my life. The Rockport reminded me of Comox, where we are here, and we always thought that if we wanted to winter in down in the States, we would go to Rockport. But then we sort of, for a variety of reasons, ended up in Mesa. That's where we did. But what a beautiful spot Rockport was. And Ray, how are you doing?
Doing well this morning. A little bit chilly here. It's in the low 50s, and that's actually nice and refreshing. And my presentation today is actually, I've been trying to convince Dewey to go to and from Minnesota on a different route. So I'm going to show him today a reason why he might take the route I'm suggesting.
Oh, okay. That's pretty cool. And of course, Dewey, you're home now.
We are back in Golden Valley, Minnesota, at our little home where we have the fireplace going because it's darn cold today. Anyway, so good to be here.
You're good to be home, eh?
Right.
You had a safe drive. Hi, Joanne.
Hey, safe drive.
Safe drive. Good. Excellent. Good. Well, welcome everyone, and welcome to Tech for Seniors. We have an action-packed show as we do every week for you. I wanted just to go over one little thing before we start the show today, and I'm going to, let me just see if I can do this now. Here. I just wanted to go over with everyone the newsletter that we send out. And I wanted to just show you, just to go over with everyone what's in the newsletter. Now, the first thing you'll see when you get the newsletter is you'll see that we send 2 newsletters out. One is on Tuesday and one is on Saturday. Now, it depends on which one you get. But if the first thing is, you'll see a little black box at the top here. This is the Saturday newsletter I just sent out. And you'll see if you missed the Chromebook last week, learning Chromebooks, then you can replay it at the link. And unfortunately, I forgot to highlight that link, but there is a link there. And so if you want, usually in this black box at the top is stuff that is really just timely that you might want to use right away. And then if you come down, you'll actually click here to join our Zoom meeting. This is the link embedded in there. So you just have to, excuse me, I got a frog in my throat today. If you click this, you'll join our Zoom meeting. So that is the link to the Zoom meeting. Again, we have put a button in here for the past shows, so you don't actually have to go and find them. If you just click on this blue button, then that will be a link to the past shows. Now, when we talk about live stream, if you wanted to watch the show on Thursday, which is our Tech for Senior live show, we do that in streaming it from our channel. And you can just click on this link, this great big link here, and that will take you to the our YouTube channel, and you'll be able to watch the show. And we broadcast that on Thursday as well. So you just have to click this link, and that will take you right to the right to our YouTube channel. So I've made all these links for you, which is great. And then this is our Facebook page. Those of you who want to watch us on Facebook, the link is right here. And also, for those of you who don't know, we are posting, like, our Facebook page is really going crazy with the number of people watching it. And Hewie, Bob, and I post articles all day long on current news topics. So if you want to be timely and right on top of things, then this is where you want to be. Now, here's where the meeting info is. So this is where, when you're trying to find the meeting and you can't remember in the morning what the button to hit and so on and so forth, this is where all your meeting info is. And if you look down here and look closely, you'll see, to see all the season 1 and recent episodes, click this link. When you click that link, it'll bring up all the past issues of Tech for Seniors. Now, if you just bookmark that, you never have to do that again, because you just go to the bookmark, click the link, and they'll always be there. It gets updated automatically. And so that's the link right there. It's season 1. And other shows that Tech for Senior produces are all in the second link. And as links occur, and as life gets more complicated, we'll put more links in there for you, so it's easier for you to find what you want. And we were talking earlier about the we have the shows all indexed now, so we're working on getting that organized, and we'll put the link in there so you'll be able to find things with the index. And then as you come down here, you'll see this is Hewie and I learning Chromebooks. This is the link here you'll see on the YouTube video on our last show. And if you want to sign up, that's here. And Hewie always has some words of wisdom for us. On Saturday, this is his Hugh's Corner. And then Dewey's Tech Talk now is online. So we have that as a standalone show for you if you want to watch any of Dewey's shows. They're now available online. You just click this button here, and you can listen to Dewey every hour. And then again, this is my show. This is my the one I did on Chromebooks, but we change these each week. So the newsletter is really not, I guess the point that I'm trying to make here is that the newsletter is not just a bunch of old articles that we're trying to give you. These are pertinent links to make your life better, and so you can get around and see some of the stuff that we're doing. And there's a little bit of news stuff in there. So when we call it a newsletter, it's not really a newsletter. So you should subscribe to it, but keep in touch with us, because we'll put all those links there for you. We purposely don't put those links on our webpage because it's just too visible for everybody to see. So we figure people who get the newsletter are people who are really interested in what we do. So I'd encourage you, if you haven't signed up for that, to do so. All right, we should be getting going now. I'm going to be playing Bob, since Bob sort of got his right arm cut off. I'll be playing his segment this morning. So let me just come back here, and we will we'll just share this. We'll bring this up here.
Here is the Avast Security News Roundup for the week ending April 16th, 2021. Facebook expands its oversight board scope. Facebook made an announcement this week that it had expanded the scope of its oversight board to include appeals against content that has been left up to either Instagram or Facebook after someone had reported it. Previously, the Oversight Board would only review appeals against content that had been taken down. The new purview grants users the right to file an appeal against either decision. Removing content is a delicate matter, commented Avast security evangelist Louis Carones. At the end of the day, it could be considered censorship of published information. While there are certain topics that are clear, like breaking the law or the platform's code of conduct, others are more ambiguous. Comprised of 40 diverse members from around the world, the Oversight Board comes into play only after Facebook's regular content review process has made a judgment on reported content. Because Facebook and Instagram receive so many requests for appeals, after such a judgment, the Oversight Board handpicks which are of critical importance to public discourse and or raise important questions about Facebook's policies. Is this what caused Facebook banning New York Post's articles? April Patch Tuesday updates focus on Exchange server attacks. According to a Microsoft Security Response Center post, this month's security updates focus primarily on dealing with the series of recent attacks that have affected Exchange server everywhere. This month's release includes several critical vulnerabilities that Microsoft recommend you prioritize, including the updates to protect against new vulnerabilities in on-premise Exchange servers. These new vulnerabilities were reported by a security partner through standard coordinated vulnerability disclosure and found internally by Microsoft. Because of this threat and the severity of the CVEs associated with it, Microsoft advises that, given recent adversary focus on Exchange, users install the update as soon as possible to ensure they remain protected. One thing they did mention, though, is that the customers using Exchange online are already protected and don't need to take any action, since the web app is always the latest version. Clubhouse says data breach was not a breach. After 1.3 million Clubhouse users with records showed up in an SQL database on a popular hacker forum, the new and trending social media platform was thought by many to have suffered a data breach. But a tweet from Clubhouse informed users there was no breach nor hack. The data was simply public information available to anyone. It included users' ID, names, photo, URLs, usernames, Twitter handles, Instagram handles, numbers of followers, numbers of account followed, account creation dates, and invited by user profile names. While the information does not include passwords or credit card numbers, it has sparked closer scrutiny at the security and privacy measures, or lack thereof, used by Clubhouse. Read more on Cyber News. Cyberstalkers aided by WhatsApp online status. Even as Apple and Google endeavor to remove all stalkerware apps from their stores, cyberstalkers can still find tools to track their victims, particularly with apps that log WhatsApp online statuses. A new blog post by the developers of the Traced app delves into the WhatsApp privacy loophole that enables stalkers to observe their victims' WhatsApp's behaviors through legitimate apps offering the service under the guise of tracking one's minor children. These apps live on the stalker's phones, which obviates the need to surreptitiously install anything on the victim's phones. Some of the WhatsApp status tracing apps even allow users to compare two different WhatsApp accounts, giving them visibility as to whether two users were on at the same time, perhaps talking with each other. Anyone who believes they may be being stalked can seek help from the Coalition Against Stalkerware. Scammers target funerals of COVID-19 victims. The U.S. Federal Trade Commission issued an alert this week that scammers are taking advantage of a new Federal Emergency Management Agency program that offers financial assistance of up to $9,000 to help pay for the funerals of victims of COVID-19. The program just started up this week, and phishing emails are already circulating, posing as the government's offering to get people registered for assistance. If you receive one of these emails, remember that the real FEMA will not contact you unless you've applied for assistance. FEMA will not ask you to pay anything upfront to receive the financial help, and it will not ask you for your Social Security, bank account, or credit card numbers. FBI hacks unsuspecting users to remove backdoors. The FBI has obtained court approval from the Southern District of Texas to hack into hundreds of unsuspecting users' computers in order to remove a vulnerability backdoor that has been placed there by cyber attacks through January and February 2021. The attacks targeted thousands of Microsoft Exchange servers in the U.S., inserting a web shell in their systems that would allow for future access and hacks. The attacks were publicized and patched in March, but the FBI notified that several hundred U.S. computers did not remove the web shell. Gaining court authorization, the FBI hacked into the vulnerable systems, usually without the owner's knowledge, and programmed the web shell to delete themselves. Read more on The Verge. New Microsoft Exchange patches that SMBs should apply immediately. Even if you need to apply patches last month, you'll need to do some again this month. Last month, we told you about a series of critical vulnerabilities in Microsoft Exchange that were under attack. We urged small and medium-sized businesses to take immediate action to patch, as well as determine if Exchange systems might have been compromised. This month, Microsoft has released a new series of patches for a new, different set of critical vulnerabilities affecting Exchange. The bad news is that if you need to apply patches last month, you'll need to do so again this month. The good news, right now at least, is that these vulnerabilities are not under attack. However, Microsoft says clearly in their security advisory, we have not seen the vulnerabilities used in attacks against our customers. However, given the recent advisory focus on Exchange, we recommend customers install the updates as soon as possible to ensure they remain protected from these and other threats. And that wraps up this week's Avast Security News. Stay safe, stay secure, and I'll see you next week. Bye-bye.
Thanks, Bob. That's great.
Thank you, Ray.
We're going to move right into Dewey's segment now, and I don't have to reshare my computer, so we'll just move right into Dewey's segment.
Good morning, friends. I'm Dewey, and my Tech Talk topic for today is ATSC 3.0, also known as Next Gen TV. It's part 2. I did part 1 last week, and if you have a special interest in this new TV standard that's coming for broadcast TV, you can go back and look at last week's show. Anyway, going on, last Monday I introduced our TFS followers to a new, much higher quality over-the-air broadcast TV, or antenna TV, standard that began its slow rollout more than a year ago and may take another 5 or more years to be fully implemented in the U.S. This new OTA standard broadcast standard is officially known as ATSC 3.0. It's promoted by the ATSC, which is the Advanced TV Systems Committee, under the name of Next Gen TV. By the way, this committee is worldwide, not only in the US. While more stations are broadcasting in 3.0 now than a year ago, the vast majority are still in an experimental phase, and the major TV networks haven't yet committed to certain features such as 4K and on-demand video. Compatible hardware also remains expensive and scarce. Dave Arland, a spokesman for the ATSC standards body, recently acknowledged that 3.0 Next-Gen TV is still in its very, very early days as per the standards, but it is going rapidly. Next-Gen TV promises stunning video with brilliant color, sharper images, and deeper contrast that will make you feel like you're really there, and movie theater quality sound lets you hear every voice clearly. It's also capable of 4K and HDR picture resolutions and Dolby Atmos and DTS:X audio. If you're into sound, you'll know what that is. 3.0 is the first overhaul to the ATSC standard for over-the-air TV since the group first introduced 1.0 in 1996. 1.0 was the technology that finally took hold in June 2009, ushering in the switch from analog to digital TV that topped out at 1080p high-definition resolution. Next-gen TV is a whole new ballgame that's expected to significantly revive interest in broadcast TV. And here's the reason. Next-gen TV is antenna TV that is supplemented by and enhanced with internet content to get the most out of live sports, news, live events, and more. It's important that you realize it's both internet and antenna. Yet we need to stay grounded in the realization that in both the broadcast TV and internet sides of next-gen TV, there's still a host of technologies that need to be developed and implemented by networks and broadcasters to make it all happen. One example is a feature that will enable local broadcast TV stations to personalize their shows with interactive features called haptics. So what is haptics? Haptics is digitally created touch feedback to create touch sensations primarily accessed on a mobile device. While watching next-gen TV, viewers can interact with their smartphone or other device's touchscreen, like when typing on their virtual keyboard. As a part of 3.0 next-gen TV, haptics brings new potential for enhanced mobile viewing experiences. For example, Ed and his wife, Mary, are both huge TV fans. At the start of the game, their TV notifies them that the game is also available through a dedicated app on their smartphones with customizable haptic options. Ed and Mary both launch the app and proceed to select their haptic experiences. Ed loves the haptic-enabled game actions, hits on the quarterback, sacks, tackles, interceptions, and so forth. Mary likes haptics for major game events, touchdowns, field goals, and so forth, and as their TV screen and their mobile devices synchronously provides the game. Haptics provide an additional layer of entertainment and sensory immersion that goes beyond traditional viewing. As next-gen TV is rolled out in various markets in the US and worldwide, the demand for leveraging its full capabilities is bound to increase. Immersion.com is one of the companies working with broadcasters to integrate haptics RP. RP stands for recommended practices, and enable mobile devices to take advantage of the haptic-enabled content screen. Our present 1.0 broadcast system is slated to remain in place for 5 years. This means that 3.0 programming must be essentially the same, except for programming features that are based on the enhanced capabilities of 3.0. Most pre-2021 TVs will either need an external 3.0 tuner or be replaced with TVs that have both the 3.0 and backwards compatible 1.0 tuner. Currently, LG, Samsung, and Sony have a good selection of 4K and 8K TVs that are so equipped. Regarding 4K TVs, as larger size TVs become popular, the old 1080p 1K resolution of 1920 by 1080 pixels simply became inadequate in terms of clarity. It's because of the large screens. 4K TVs restore clarity by doubling the resolution of 1080p, which means they quadruple the number of pixels. 8K TV doubles those numbers again to a resolution of 7680 by 4320. Wow. Virtually every TV 50 inches or larger bought today has 4K resolution, and many smaller sets are 4K as well. Now, as screen sizes, which are diagonally measured, increase to 90 inches and beyond, 8K resolution TVs have become more important to provide top quality clarity. Next-gen TV standards are expected to embrace this new higher 8K resolution TV as more and more people purchase them. If you're wondering how Lowcast, the nearly free streaming service that provides over-the-air broadcast channels to more than 30 U.S. urban market areas, fits into the next-gen TV picture, I'm not able to really envision any problems. For example, Lowcast covers the greater Phoenix TV market area. There are already a dozen Phoenix, Arizona TV broadcasters who have launched or are launching next-gen TV in that market area, market-wide, as a model for the TV industry. It's the Phoenix model. Here's a graphic listing of these stations. You have Channel 5 CBS, the Channel 8 series on public TV, Fox Fox Network Channel 10, and NBC, the Peacock on 12, Univision Arizona, which I don't watch much, ABC 15, and then there's an extra Fox Network channel on Channel 45, and finally the CW 61. By the way, CW doesn't stand for Country and Western Music. It stands for an affiliation between CBS and Warner Brothers. This has got me to think. We watch these channels on a 4K TV at our place in Silveridge and Mesa. If the price of outboard TV 3.0 tuners starts dropping in the next year, perhaps I'll buy one to enjoy the higher quality picture of these Phoenix channels, especially my favorite KAET Arizona Public TV. Then I'll bring it to our suburban Twin Cities, Minnesota home in the spring with the expectation that TPT, that's Twin Cities Public Television, and other local Twin Cities stations will soon be up and running with their next-gen 4K broadcasts. Sounds like a plan. By the way, near-term 3.0 coverage goal for the U.S. is 62 markets that reach an estimated 75% of the country's population. As of March 2021, Next-Gen TV was on the air in 25 U.S. markets, with another 4 markets waiting for FCC approval of their applications. Standalone tuner boxes that you can connect to any TV will soon be on the market, with one already available, the HD Home Run Connect 4K. It's a $200 network model with an antenna input that connects to your router, not to your TV, but your router. Perhaps you've wondered, since Next-Gen TV uses the internet to provide extraordinary audio and other special enhancements, must you always be internet connected when watching the new Next-Gen TV? Well, the answer is no. Using just your antenna and a 3.0 enabled TV, you'll be able to watch your local Next-Gen TV stations broadcast with the new 3.0 standard. However, you'll miss out on the highly enhanced audio effects that will begin to roll in. This is my presentation for today, and I'm gonna stick with it. Thanks for watching. Stay safe and have a great day.
Yeah. Thank you, Dewey.
You're welcome.
I'm going to stay connected, and we'll just continue on with my segment now, which is the Oculus Part 2.
Ron Brown with Tech for Seniors.
Virtual Reality for Seniors, Part 2, The Hardware. Let's have a look. Now, you know the routine. If you like this video, please click the like, and I would sure appreciate it if you would subscribe to the channel. It really helps us, and it helps other people wanting to see these videos. Thanks again. Let's get on with the show. Now, if you go to Best Buy and you want to buy a virtual reality machine, you'll have three choices. And these are the three choices we're going to talk about today, starting with the PlayStation. This is Sony's PlayStation VR. This is a very popular device. It's $349 at Best Buy. Now, the only problem is that you have to have a PlayStation to be able to use this. This is just for the headset. Now, I'm not sure I know a lot of seniors that use the Sony PlayStation, but it is extremely popular. Sony's entry level into the market is the lowest powered of these three. But the PlayStation has a big advantage over the Quest 2 and Vive. Because it's tethered to the PlayStation gaming system, there is an enormous pre-existing user base of tens of millions of gamers, many of whom are eager to try their hands at virtual reality. Because of the user database that the PS4 had, Sony's customers didn't have to purchase or upgrade computer hardware to make the PlayStation virtual reality headset the most affordable of the high-end HMDs, or head-mounted displays. As such, the PlayStation Virtual Reality is the best-selling virtual reality headset on the market, moving over 4 million units since its initial release, and showing that, if nothing else, VR gaming is here to stay. So this is, for sure, if you do have a PlayStation, this is a very easy way to get into virtual reality, with the software and hardware being on the PlayStation 5. Again, these are the prices at Best Buy. You'll see that the headset is $349 and the PlayStation is just under $500, which makes it just under $900 for the combination headset and PlayStation. All right, let's talk about the HTC Vive. Here's an example of the Vive Cosmo Elite. This is different than the Oculus Quest in that it has two external components. You'll see those two boxes by the headset and two controllers. Now, the HTC Vive has been one of the best-selling virtual reality headsets on the market since its consumer release back in 2018. And the Vive has been locked in fierce competition with the Oculus Quest since its release. So the two are sort of battling it out, as both headsets are aimed at the top end of the virtual reality market. But I will tell you that the HTC Vive distinguishes itself on a couple of issues. The first is the screen resolution is probably a bit better than the Oculus, as well as the speed. So if you look at the top gamers who are really into virtual reality, they are tending to purchase the HTC Vive or the Cosmos Elite as their choice. But it distinguishes itself quite a bit from the Oculus on two issues. The first is price. You'll see that this is Best Buy prices, and you can buy the Vive Cosmos as a package for around $700 US. If you want just the headset, then it's just under $600. The problem is this is not a standalone unit. You have to tether this to a PC. So this is, and that's the second big distinguisher from the Oculus. The Oculus is a standalone computer. You do not need to connect it, but you do need to connect it. The HTC Vive, you do need to connect to a computer, and it works through the computer. So you need a gaming computer in addition to the hardware that I've just discussed. All right, this is the Oculus Quest 2. This is the one that I own, and you'll see me up in the left-hand corner of the screen. You'll see that it comes with a headset and 2 hand controllers, and we'll talk a little bit about that in a minute. This is what you'll find in the box. You'll find on the left-hand side, you'll see that there are the 2 controllers, and you'll see the headset along with a charging cable. When you take it out of the box on the right-hand side, you'll see that there is a glass protector, which we'll talk about in a minute, the 2 controllers, and the head-mounted display. Now, there are 2 versions of the Oculus Quest. When you go to Best Buy to buy this, you'll find that there is one for $299 and one for $399. Now, this is the deal of a lifetime because these are standalone computers. You do not need a PC to run this. You don't need to connect it to your PC. You can do this all by initiating it through a cell phone if you want. And because it's heavily subsidized by Facebook, you'll find that it is extremely cheap. So when I say that you're going to buy a unit for $299, yes, that is it. These are standalone units. You'll be able to do all the virtual reality you want. It includes the software, the charging cables, and the 2 controllers, all for $299. And when you go to Best Buy, you're going to see that there are 2 versions. There's a version for $299 and $399. Let me say that these are exactly the same machines. They have the same processor in them. Everything about these 2 devices is the same, except for how much memory is in there. And the $299 one has 64 gigabytes of memory. The $399 one has 256 gigabytes of memory. So what's the difference? Well, it depends on how much memory you're going to need to play the games or the applications that you want. Let me tell you that I have the one for $299 or 64 gigabytes. It's perfectly adequate for the amount of applications that I want to play. So I don't really think, unless you have a lot of experience with VR and plan on putting a tremendous amount of games on there, I don't think that to spend the extra $100 is really worthwhile initially when you start. One important feature is you cannot upgrade the memory on these. So what you got is what you got. So if you do think you might want more memory, then spend the extra $100 and get the $399 version. The first question that I often get asked is, what if you wear glasses? I wear glasses. How do these headsets work with glasses? Well, there are really 2 types of people that wear glasses. Those are who are farsighted or short-sighted, and these individuals usually have had glasses all their lives. Then there's people like myself who have presbyopia. This is where you just need reading glasses as you get older because a lot of things start to wear out, right? So those of you who have presbyopia, such as myself, I didn't find that I needed my glasses in the virtual reality experience. So you may want to try it without glasses. There is a glass protector so that your glasses can't actually touch the lens, and you'll see that in the top right-hand corner. So if you do require, if you're short-sighted or far-sighted, or you find that you do need virtual reality, your glasses in the headset, you can indeed wear them. In fact, the lenses, which you'll see on the bottom right, can actually be taken out, and your optometrist can actually grind the lenses to fit your refraction, and some people do this. So glasses are really not an obstacle to virtual reality. Now, I often get asked, what about hearing aids? Well, part of the immersive experience of virtual reality is, of course, being able to hear the stereo sound. And you'll see on the left-hand side, you'll see that there's 2 speakers, one on each side. You'll hear them just by your ear there, and you will see them on the as part of the strap. It's very good sound. I have never had a problem with it. It was really pretty darn good. However, if you want more, or you're having trouble with hearing, then you're able to actually connect a headset through an audio output jack, as you'll see on the right-hand side. And this is a headset that is being plugged in and is used in addition to the speakers. There is no Bluetooth connection to earbuds and other devices like that. So this is a plug-in device that would be plugging in an existing headset. Now, in addition to purchasing your Oculus Quest, there's always a lot of questions about aftermarket devices that you can add to your existing headset. One of the big discussions that you'll have is the strap that comes with the Oculus Quest. As you'll see in this picture here, the Oculus Quest comes with the front-mounted headset, and then the strap goes over top of your head and connects at the back. This is like a Velcro strap that really works fine. You will find, though, that the headset is a little bit heavier in the front, and it doesn't quite balance on your head. So there is a lot of aftermarket devices made, and Oculus actually has an Oculus Quest 2 strap, which is it's a fixed piece of plastic, I guess, that comes around the side, and you have actually a device to turn at the back of your head that can tighten or loosen the strap up. So instead of having a floppy Velcro thing, you have sort of more of a permanent mounted device, and you can control how tight you want it by simply dialing the circle at the back. I did purchase this. I like it. I think it's fine. And it was $49. And this is available at Best Buy, or there are a lot of other companies that make devices like this to add on to your Oculus Quest. Now, the Oculus Quest 2 is a clear winner. It is heavily subsidized at $299. It is a standalone device. You don't need any other equipment to have a great virtual reality experience. You can tether it to your PC and play games like Flight Simulator, and all you'll need is a cable of about $30 to connect it. And this week they announced a major update to the Oculus Quest software that's even going to let you do this all through a wireless connection. So lots of new things coming as well. Now, my advice is this: give it a try, and if you get hooked on virtual reality, that's great. If it's not for you, give it to your grandchildren, because you will be known as the greatest grandparents ever. You know, all those sweaters you knit them and all those great dinners you bought them, they'll never remember that, but they will remember the day you gave them an Oculus Quest. Stay tuned to part 3, and we're going to talk about the software that's available and how you might use it as a senior with virtual reality. Ron Brown with Tech for Seniors.
All right, Hewie, are you ready?
I'm never ready.
The Starlink Report.
This is
the Starlink Report.
The Starlink Report for April 19th, 2021. I'm Hewie Poplock. First, let's do a recap. SpaceX is building an expansive satellite internet network in space called Starlink. The aerospace company launched its first batch of Starlink satellites into orbit May 2019. Now it has over 1,200 working satellites prepped for the service. A subscription to the beta is currently $99 a month. It costs a further $499 for the Starlink kit, which includes a mounting tripod, a Wi-Fi router, and a terminal to connect to the satellites. The company recently won an $885 million federal subsidy in December to expand Starlink. Starlink was initially operated in parts of northern US, southern Canada, and most recently in the UK. In February, Starlink began opening up pre-orders to other parts of the world. Here's how you sign up. And now the latest Starlink news. In December, SpaceX connected to Peak Anjicum First Nation, a remote 3,000 person indigenous community in northwestern Ontario, to Starlink. Before the internet service, Peak Anjicum couldn't offer higher education or health care and struggled with high suicide rates. Now they're able to access everything. Dave Brown, CEO of FSET, the company that linked up SpaceX and Pinkangcom, said in an interview with the Insider, "We took a community that was one of the most technology disadvantaged anywhere in the world. They now have become one of the most technology advanced, yet are still remote, living where they are and not having to move." 60 satellites were launched on April 7th. The most recent launch before this one happened on March 24th, with prior flights on March 14th, March 11th, and March 4th. That pace intentionally fast, since SpaceX has said it aims to launch a total of 1,500 Starlink satellites over the course of the calendar year. On April 28th, a SpaceX Falcon rocket will launch the 25th batch of approximately 60 satellites for SpaceX's Starlink broadband network, a mission designated Starlink version 1.0 L24. In total, SpaceX has now launched 1,443 satellites for its Starlink constellation. SpaceX recently signed a new agreement with NASA that outlines how the two organizations will avoid close approach or collision events between their respective spacecraft. And SpaceX President Glenn Shotwell said on Tuesday that the aerospace company has reduced the cost of each Starlink terminal from $3,000 to $1,500 each. Starlink customers have to pay $499 for the kit, which includes the user terminal, also known as dish sheet, indicating that SpaceX is covering the remaining cost of $1,000 for each one it produces. The company also just rolled out a new version that saved about $200 off the cost and is expecting the price of each terminal to reduce to the few $100 range within the next year or two, according to Shotwell. Here's what it looks like. What early users of SpaceX's Starlink satellite internet think about the service, the speed, and more. Tech for Seniors regular Greg F. has been getting download speeds from 28 megabits per second to over 200, and upload speeds of around 11 megabits per second. That's his antenna on top of his roof. To get real-life first impressions of the service, CNBC spoke to more than 50 people who have been using Starlink. Those surveyed included households in Canada and 13 U.S. states. The majority of these Starlink users are in rural or remote areas, such as farmland or wilderness, with limited access to terrestrial broadband options, and a few with no access altogether. This is a quote: "I expect to keep the service long term," a user in Montana told CNBC. "The price of the beta for the service is more reasonable than any other option we have, and those are worse in performance. I will keep Starlink as long as it's the only broadband option available to me." Most users found the service's monthly price of $99 to be fair, and oftentimes a discount to other satellite broadband services and terrestrial options, especially given the average speed of Starlink's service. SpaceX President Glenn Shotwell last week said the company does not plan to add tiered pricing to customers, emphasizing that it wants to try to keep it as simple as possible and transparent as possible. "Barring a massive hailstorm, I don't see much hurting this thing at all," one user said. The SpaceX made sure to design the Starlight satellite dish to work in wintry and wet climates by building a heater into the dish itself. As a result, the dish can melt away any ice around it. Another quote, the hardest part was getting up on the roof, mounting the dish and running the wire from outside to the inside of the house, a Colorado user said. Obstructions to the antenna's view of the sky and therefore connection to overhead satellites was the most frequent issue for users installing the dish. A mobile application for Starlink users includes an augmented reality feature to check for obstructions and help find the right place to install the antenna. A quote, my trees are really tall and I underestimated the need for the Starlink's obstruction detecting app to really show zero trees, a user in Oregon said. The installation process and the apparent lacking of grounding for lightning in the equipment was a concern for a California user. Those of us in Florida will be concerned about that as well, as we are the lightning capital of the world. CEO Elon Musk confirmed the news on Twitter Thursday, quoting, Starlink should be fully mobile later this year, so you can move it anywhere or use it on an RV or a truck in motion, he said. We need a few more satellite launches to achieve complete coverage and some key software upgrades, Musk added in his tweet. Musk also tweeted that Starlink would probably exit its beta this summer. Musk also tweeted Friday that Starlink's service uptime, bandwidth, and latency are improving rapidly. In February, Musk commented that Starlink internet speeds would double and latency would drop by the end of 2021. Starlink subscribers were getting faster internet than SpaceX said they should expect. Even in the freezing temperatures, high winds, and snow, Starlink has hit speeds of 175 megabits per second, users told Insider. To repeat, users also emphasized a key point that SpaceX itself has said, which is that the service is a boon for those in rural areas, but not a replacement for the existing internet service of people in cities. On April 25th, a Russian Soyuz rocket will launch 36 satellites into orbit for OneWeb, which is developing a constellation of hundreds of satellites in low Earth orbit for low latency broadband communications. This is a competitor to Starlink. And then again in June, a Russian Soyuz rocket will launch another 36 satellites into orbit for OneWeb. That takes care of our Starlink report for today. This has been
the Starlink report.
Wow, lots of updates. Thanks a lot, Hewie. That's great. Good news.
Okay.
Great, good stuff. Now, Ray, before you can start getting ready. And for those of you over on our streaming service, thank you for coming. We're going to, we'll see you again next week, same time, same place. So we'll be signing off from our streaming service over on YouTube. But Ray, I guess you can get ready to go. Don't forget to unmute, Ray.
Is that better?
Yep, now we can hear you.
Okay. I've been suggesting to Dewey that when he makes his trip between Minnesota and Arizona, that he maybe take a new route. This is the one that I had suggested the last time we spoke about this. So there's numerous songs that have been written about places in the world. You can think of Three Coins in the Fountain being about the fountains in Italy. But how many places can you name that have been created based on words in a song? And there's one I know of, and that's in Winslow, Arizona. So Winslow is a city of less than 10,000 inhabitants, 75 miles north of where I live, and about an hour's drive east from Flagstaff, Arizona. Now, the famed Route 66 at one time ran right through this city, but of course, all that changed with the construction of the Interstate 40, the I-40 in the late 1970s. So except for the restored La Posada Hotel, which was the last Harvey House and is also known as the last great railroad hotel, there wasn't much of a tourist reason to stop in Winslow. Well, that all changed in 1999 with the creation of the Standing on the Corner Park. And these are the words taken from the song Take It Easy. That's from 1972, co-written by Jackson Browne and Glenn Frey and performed by the Eagles. So the park features murals depicting the famous verse. And if you expect me to sing the song, The Stand Now, I am not going to. But it's, you know, we all know it. We've all heard it many times. Standing on a corner in Winslow, Arizona, and such a fine sight to see. It's a girl, my lord, in a flatbed Ford, slowing down to take a look at me. So the park has a statue of Glenn Frey, the lead singer on Take It Easy. Now, he unfortunately died at the age of 67 in 2016 from existing medical issues. And additionally, the city of Winslow now has an annual Standing on the Corner Streets Festival held in September. And I think I'm going to be going to that in a few months. So the next time you're traveling on the I-40 in this part of Arizona, I believe the Standing on the Corner Park, as well as the La Posada Hotel, is definitely a worthwhile stop. Now, due to disputes among the band members in the early 80s, the Eagles broke up. And when asked when would they ever play together again, the response was, when hell freezes over. Well, the following clip with Don Henley on drums is from their Hell Freezes Over concert. This is recorded in 1994 for MTV. And there we have it.
Thanks. Thanks so much, Ray. That was great. I'm gonna have to go up to Winslow next time we're down in Arizona. Will be that'd be great. Yeah,
worth the trip. And the La Posada Hotel is even better. They've restored it. It's phenomenal, and a good meal.
Maybe we'll come up. We'll meet you and your wife, and we'll go for lunch up there. Maybe
that's a deal.
All right.
Maybe I'll come along.
Yeah, we'll bring Dewey as well. Yeah, that'd be cool. We'll come up for the day. We'll do that. We'll get Joanne to drive, Dewey?
That's a good bet. I'll tell you that. She's a great driver.
All right, everyone, listen. Hey, another hour is just flowing by. Like, I can't believe it. So we will see everybody the same time, the same place next week. Stay tuned now. We're going to move into our question and answer period. We'll, if you have any questions. Now, again, we can't see everybody because there's about 100, what do we got, 90, or we got just under 100 people in the room. So if you could go down to the reactions, and under reactions at the bottom screen, you'll see raise your hand, and that brings you right up to the top of the screen, and we can see you and acknowledge you. So we'll open it up now to any questions about the show today. Anything you want to talk about, just let us know. And we've got Greg, our Starlink guy. You got anything new to add, Greg?
Yeah. My speed here just a couple of minutes ago, my wife's calling me.
Oh, sorry. Greg, you muted yourself.
I think he did that to take the phone call, maybe.
You're muted, Greg.
How's that? Is that better?
Yeah, now we can hear you.
Is that the famous quote, "You're muted"?
Yeah, it is. It is.
Hey, on this road trip, I want to include my name and Leona's name to go with you guys up there. Anyway, good job, Ray. Getting back to Starlink, I just did a speed check a couple of minutes ago, and it was 28. And I redid it, and now it's 118. So it varies all over the place. But I've had as high as 300, 358.
Wow.
So yeah, it's smoking sometimes.
All right.
Smoking.
Excellent. Excellent. For sure. So is everyone going to run out and buy a virtual reality headset? Stay tuned for next week because we're going to talk about the software next week. So that gets real cool. we'll have some fun with that. But I'm telling you, if you for $300, what do you get for $300, right? I mean, go buy one, try it out if you like it. If you don't, give it to your grandkids. You'll be the coolest grandparents ever. I mean, they'll all love you. They'll remember you for that forever, I'll tell you.
And if you don't have any grandparents, I'm always happy to accept donations.
Yeah. So we'll talk about the software next week. That's going to be lots of fun.
Murray has his hand up. So does George Bowden.
Murray, go ahead.
Okay, well, I think I'm scheduled next week to do something on my BTRFS NAS server, if I'm not mistaken. I think that's 2 weeks from when I said it would be 2 weeks. Is that right?
Are you talking next week then?
That would be next week, because that would be 2 weeks from last week.
Oh, you better call me though. We got to work that in.
I will contact you on the weekend to confirm that I'm ready for it. Probably on Saturday sometime, just to make sure.
How long do you think your segment's going to be?
Well, I'll make it 5 to 10 minutes.
Make it. Could you make it 5 minutes?
I'll make it 5 minutes.
Okay. Thank you.
George is next.
George, go ahead.
So how do you avoid the copyright problems? Because the Eagles are really tight on that.
We don't broadcast the copyright. That's why we stopped the YouTube stream. That's why we stop it before that. And then when you probably don't watch the playbacks, but when we play this back, I edit that out. So when I get the recording today, I'll edit out that, and I put a link in the notes to it. So you click the link, it'll take you to the YouTube spot. But you're absolutely correct. You'll get nailed with a copyright infringement if you broadcast that. So that's now, if we broadcast it over to Facebook, Facebook doesn't care. They don't give a care. They don't care what you do on Facebook. But for sure, you're absolutely correct. We would get into big trouble if we aired that in the. See, we can do whatever we want within our Zoom meeting. This is our personal Zoom meeting that we can talk and we can show movies. We do whatever we want.
Okay.
But we can't. But you can't take this. What I do is I take this recording and then I remaster it into an MP4 file, upload it to YouTube, and rebroadcast it out to the world. Right? It goes to the whole world. Anyone can watch it. So you're absolutely correct. You can't do that. You get into big trouble.
Yeah,
on that I got nailed for putting up our church service on YouTube, and it was false, because what they complained about was the choir saying "Jesus loves me," which has been in the public domain for at least 70 years.
Yeah. Well, the problem though is that you can't argue that, because there is really no one to argue with, right?
Oh yeah, I appealed it, and they allowed me back.
Okay.
But the thing is, there are patent trollers around. There are people who troll for copyright and claim copyright for things that are public domain.
Absolutely. So George, you're absolutely correct, and that's why we do it the way we do it, to take that. Greg, do you have your hand up? Is it?
Yeah. Again, my attorney told me under free use, it's called free use. And it goes beyond the copyright. As long you can use it and you can enjoy it, but you cannot advertise and sell it. That's what they told. Jim knows a lot better about this than I do, but I was told that we could actually use stuff as long as we didn't charge for it.
No, that's not true. That's not true. You can't, because we don't charge. There's no advert. We don't do anything with it. So we're not making any money on it. So it's really clear in the YouTube terms of reference that you cannot do that. And George is absolutely correct. And they'll nail you. In fact, I think I told you guys that there was 2 infringements that I've had in the last year. One was, do you remember way back in season 1, in the second or third show we did, there was that one Phantom of the Opera, remember? And they were doing that free on Friday. They were doing that free Phantom of the Opera show. And so I said to everybody in the show here, I said, look, and I just played a little bit of that Phantom clip, and I said, and this Friday is a free Phantom of the Opera show, right, that you can watch on YouTube. Well, I didn't have that thing up 2 seconds, and I got a copyright infringement. You know, they nailed that right away. So so that's you know, that's just not going to happen. So
yeah, I took some videos at my nephew's wedding, and one of them was the new couple's first dance, and I got nailed on a copyright infringement because of the music they were dancing to at a wedding.
This is all done by bots. They listen. There's no people listening. It's these bots, and as soon as they hear the music, that triggers it.
Are you talking YouTube?
I did a tutorial. Yes. I did a tutorial on a feature in the Avast Secure browser. Unfortunately, I didn't realize that YouTube, you cannot copy a video from YouTube unless you are a paid member of YouTube. If you have the paid version of YouTube, then you can make a copy of whatever is on YouTube. If you aren't a paid member, you may not copy what's on YouTube. Well, Avast in their secure browser has a feature to download things from YouTube. And I had a tutorial on how you use that product. I'm still waiting for my suspension to be lifted.
Yeah. Yeah.
I think you need to think about the fact that I think Greg is right as far as violation of the U.S. copyright law. On the other hand, I think you're all right because you're talking about violations of YouTube rules. Right. And those are two different things.
Right.
And we'll ask our lawyer friend, Jim Glass. He has a comment he wants to make.
Jim, give us a legal opinion.
Unmute.
Unmute. I guess the opinion is going to be as good as we pay for it, right?
You have the right to remain silent.
Exactly.
I have found that the major problem with a nonprofit organization is failure to give attribution to your source. In other words, if you just grab something that's copywritten, and you go ahead and use it, and you do not say who did it and where it's from or what have you, then you're definitely in violation of copyright. But as long as you're not selling it and you give credit for where it came from, most people, I haven't heard of anybody coming after on that with that issue. But my major thing was criminal defense, not copyright law.
So if we murder someone, we can get you some advice then. Eh?
Well, I can give you lots of insights. That's why they turned me off of juries. They asked me, can I forget what being an attorney? I says, no, I've already analyzed the case when you announced it. So it doesn't work that way.
So
just remember, you have the right to remain silent.
Yeah. So most of the YouTube, and I've talked to some very big producers of YouTube videos. I've done just under 200 this year, and I've talked to some that do 500 or 600 a year. And everyone I talk to stays away from music. Everyone just stays away from music. Music is just non-issue on YouTube. You can get royalty-free music and you can do all that, but music is just such a hassle.
I do pay attention in my presentations. If I'm quoting directly from a source, I will usually give it the attribution. So you might notice that.
Yeah.
So for me, I'm talking about in my presentations, I can use the stuff. I cannot sell it. I was not talking about over the internet or through a video type of presentation. It's just my own teaching stuff. When I get it, then I use it.
And
yes, it's right. It's fair use policy.
Yeah, and if anyone wants to use like Tech for Seniors, the reason we put this stuff up there is you guys can use it. I mean, we have no problem with you rebroadcasting, using it, do whatever you want. You know, I don't care. You know, we've got 52 episodes, season 1. We've produced a lot of other shows. We don't care. And it's really made so you can reuse it in your computer clubs or however you want. It doesn't matter to us one little bit. So, you know, don't worry about our stuff.
And then
you're welcome to take my picture, print it out, and throw darts at it if you want.
and then, as far as fair usage is concerned, I believe, at least under the Canadian law, you can copy it for your own personal use, as long as you don't show it or broadcast it or anything else, you're okay. But for your own personal use, you can basically record or copy virtually anything.
But what Dewey was saying is correct, is what we're talking about is generally what the accepted is, and then what the YouTube policy is.
Oh, yeah, I understand that.
Which is different, right?
Yeah, I understand that.
Yeah.
And if, for example, I'm going to be showing some video of a lecture that I heard to our genealogy group this afternoon, but I'm going to be telling them, make sure you turn off the recording during this part of my presentation, because some of the stuff might be copyright. And so it'll just be with our small meeting.
All right, I don't see any more questions. If we don't have any more questions, we will see everybody. Hey, if you want to have coffee with us on Thursday morning at 9 o'clock, you know how to get to the channel. I showed you on our newsletter. Just come over to the channel or watch us on Facebook. And Hewie, Bob, and I are gonna, we have no idea what we're going to talk about on Thursday, do we, Hewie?
Not until we're there, and we just some things pop into our head, and then you start asking questions in the chat box, and we answer it. So bring your own questions and bring your own coffee.
Or we'll just talk about Bob's trip to Texas. You know, maybe we'll talk about that for an hour.
Talk about my trip coming back, because I'll be back for Thursday morning. I leave here on Wednesday.
All right. Excellent. So listen, thanks for coming, everyone. We'll see everybody here on Monday, same time, same place next week. Enjoy your week, and we will talk to you soon.
Good show, everybody. Thanks for joining.